Greetings, my dear friends. Thank you so much for allowing me this moment with you. You don't have to, but I appreciate that you do. Let's get into it. Back when I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, I had lost my job. Naturally, bills and other things started to pile up on me, one of which was my car payment. So I started thinking to myself, Lord, what am I going to do? Because I need this car. If I don't have the car, then even if I got a job, I wouldn't be able to get to the job. Lord, I need you to provide me with some money, some funds, in order for me to be able to pay my car payment and keep my car. So my focus was on keeping my car through paying the payment, naturally, right? That didn't happen. Eventually, I ended up going back to the dealer, and a friend of mine followed me there. I went to the dealership and I spoke with the owner. I told him, I said, sir, I don't have the money to pay you, and I don't feel like it would be right for me to continue to drive this car because I don't know when I'll be able to pay you. So I'm here to return the car to you myself with tears in my eyes. He took me back in his office and he sat down, and I continued to stand. I began to explain to him that I had lost my job and I was having a lot of trouble trying to find a new job, and I wouldn't be able to pay him anytime soon. He looked at me for a while and he noticed that I was crying a bit. After a few moments, he got up from behind his desk with little to no words, walked around, and he hugged me. He said, listen, young man, you keep the car, you keep going to school, keep doing what you're trying to do, and just notify me, let me know what's going on with you. But I'm not going to repossess the car from you right now. You see, what I did was I was expecting God to work this situation out for me in one particular way, which gave me tunnel vision. If I could encourage you today, I want to encourage you by saying this. Don't limit God. Yes, you need deliverance from whatever situation you're in. You need a supernatural breakthrough. But a lot of times what we start to do is we start to think that we know the way that God has to do this for us. Because our wisdom is finite. We are very limited in our ability to reason and our thought process when compared to God. God's wisdom is infinite. You see, what God decided to do for me was not to give me the money, but He took the actual payment away. I was limiting God, thinking that God could only do this one particular way. But God had a completely different plan in mind. Proverbs 3:5 teaches us to trust in the Lord with all of our heart and not to lean on our own understanding. See, this is why we shouldn't rely on what we know. We shouldn't depend on our own reasoning and tell ourselves how God has to deliver us from this situation. We are commissioned only to trust God. He knows what He's doing. He's been around a little while. Jeremiah 29 tells us that God has a plan for us and that He wants to see us prosper. So if I could encourage your heart today, I tell you, don't limit God. You may be in the storm of your life and you believe you know the answer. You believe you have the solution to your problem. But when we think in those terms, we severely limit God. Just like the car payment that I had, I expected God to give me the money to pay the car payment, but God said, I have a different plan here. He can work it out for you too. Just don't limit Him. Let's all make a vow in 2019 that we won't have tunnel vision, that we won't limit God. He's gonna bring you out. Just trust that He knows what's best for you. Listen, I love you, and there's not a thing in the world you can do about it. Remember this, on this life's journey, it's not ultimately about how you start. It's how you finish. Until we meet again. Bye now. Listen, I'd like to take a moment to just tell you about my new book, and it's called, you guessed it, It's How You Finish. In this book, I talk about many of my life struggles, fears, heartaches, heartbreaks, letdowns, low self-esteem, and struggles. I believe that in 2019, this book will be really beneficial to the underdog. If you've ever felt like you could not make it, you didn't want to go on, I dare you to buy this book, read it, and apply the principles that God has taught me over the course of my life to your own life. I guarantee you'll be blessed. Listen, if you liked this video and would like to see more of this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that bell so you're notified anytime I post. Like and share this here on Facebook and anywhere else you feel that it'd be beneficial to someone. I love you, and there's not a thing in the world you can do about it.